Hey, this is Anywhere Back in Lifestyle. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let's go ahead and get to the topic for today. Topic for today, and that is going to be the rise of these super fakes and what impact that will have to the pre-owned market. And what sparked my interest was two things. First off, I buy from the pre-owned market all the time. If you are new to my channel, check out some of my videos I have where I have actual like how to look for certain things with pre-owned. I do tips like that. I also unbox, reveal bags that I frequently get from the pre-owned side of the house because it's an easy way for me to save money. You also are able to get nice high quality pieces and styles that may no longer be in production. So those are some of the reasons why I buy from pre-owned, but I can get why it scares people, and very much so with the topic that we're talking about today is one of the reasons why people shy away from that and will rather just go straight to the store, which I can get that too. Now, so from that interest, in addition to me reading a blog post by the Rob Report, so I will link the post down below so you can absolutely click on the link, read it for yourself. That way you can also see where I got some of my information from. But I would say about 10-ish so years ago and before that, it was very easy to tell a replica bag from a real one, an authentic piece. And there was a usual like three, I would say, specific things you could really tell off bat. First off was the quality of the materials that were used. If you saw the item in person or even from photos, you could kind of tell that if it was a bag that was supposed to be leather, it had a plasticky, stiff look to it, and it did not look authentic. Also, the style was off. Funny enough, so one of the areas where I actually like to go buy pre-owned from time to time had a bag that just I'm not even going to show the photo of it, but I will describe it as best I can to you, which is the styles just were wrong. So for example, if you're a handbag enthusiast, which you probably are since you're here watching, they took the H from the Hermes Constance and put it on a top handle style. So off bat, you already know that's wrong. You're like, people know like, that's not right. So that's the kind of thing that people would do back then or some years ago, which is like have a style from one brand and take the logoing from another brand and try to marry the two together. And it was just obvious. It's just like, if you're familiar with it, if you're into this kind of thing, you know that style was not something that this brand made. And that's clearly what these people did. Now, they're getting real good. If you're at this point in the video, thank you so much. Go ahead and stay around. First off, go ahead and like this video. That would be greatly appreciated before you leave. Also, I love videos every Wednesday covering topics related to fashion, lifestyle, styling type of topics as well. And so all that in between as well. So anything that I'm interested in, I'm sharing it on this channel. So definitely, I hope that you decide to stick around. I hope that you like this video. I hope you subscribe. And I hope you come back for more. Also, comment down below. I would love to talk to you in the comments. All right, so let's get back to the rest of the video. All right, so with the Rob Report, which is the blog post that I read, I took some points from there, so I want to read those and then we'll talk. All right, so first off, it was saying that the rise of super fakes has come with the assistance of two main things. First off, better materials, and also more sophisticated manufacturing technology. That is why a super fake is a super fake, is because they've gotten really good with mimicking, even if the item is not leather, they have gotten really good with mimicking the way that certain leathers feel, that it makes it really hard for you to do a touch test and feel. It also makes it more hard when you're looking at a photo because you don't have the item physically in your possession. In addition to that, they've been able, with technology, to get really close to the brand's logoing, letters, all that kind of stuff. So it's become really scary out there, truly, on the pre-owned side of things when people are getting really good at this. And it also is something that is also becoming more well accepted. I feel like recently in the kind of luxury community side of YouTube, a lot of people were talking about how rich women are very comfortable with these kind of bag parties that they have, where they're replica bags that they're buying, and they're fine with that because they feel like, why pay $10,000 when I can pay $200 and get the look for thousands of dollars less. I read another, I want to say by CNBC, where they were talking about another blog post where they were talking about millennials. No, I'm a millennial. Gen Z. So like Gen Z doesn't really care about the whole getting the real thing. They are perfectly fine with the dupes and are like, you just get made fun of when you were in school with that kind of stuff. But nowadays they're like loud and proud and happy with that. And you know, people's minds are changing, like I said. So anyway, with them getting really good, it's just, I know some of them feel like, well why? Why even do it? And you know, everybody has a side of the argument for everything. With that also, the replication process, as they've said in that blog post as well, has gotten really good. I mean, like, now, it used to be where, let's say there was a new style that came out. You may have seen it replicated after that, well after, maybe like 6 months after the style came out, then you would see the replicated one. So you know, you can also gauge that if you see something, at least in between that time frame, on the pre-owned side of things, it's likely real because the ones that are replicated haven't come out yet. Nowadays, the replicated ones are coming out within the same season. That's what the Robb Report has mentioned. Like, these items are coming out within the same season. Sometimes they come out before the release, which is mind-boggling. Like, how are you beating the people that you're taking the design from to the punch? It's just, it is really crazy, but they're able to do that with technology now. And so also they were talking about the supply chain piece of it is also harder. So when you have this company that makes these kind of goods that are replicated, they're mentioning that it's not a top-down process, so that way if you take out a portion of that business, you knocked everything out. It seems like because everything's not within the same house, it's kind of different people are working together to be interconnected. So they were saying like how it's easy that if they knock out the marketing side of this whole business, they're able to replace that one little chunk with somebody else and keep the party moving. So it makes it harder to kind of like knock pieces of the essential pieces of the business out to even hinder them enough to basically hit them in their pockets and slow down production. So it seems like that's also not working as well. Now that you think about it, like with companies, especially with these super fakes, companies are now moving towards RFID chips. I know that, for example, Louis Vuitton, maybe as of like 2-3 years ago, decided to get rid of the date code, which is one of those things that people would use to, one of the authentication factors, not the only authentication factor, but it was one of those authentication factors. And and even before they got rid of it, people were really good, and you had people that were really smart about, well, now that we know what the date codes are and what the what the combination of letters and numbers mean, we just need to make sure it makes sense. And there you go. So before, like 15 years ago, where you look at something and say like, why does this say it was produced in somewhere where LV does not have a factory, versus now where it's like, well, that's pretty close. That checks out. Bags were made in Spain. They were made in the right year. Where before it was like, the Neverfull wasn't made in 1992. so like they figured that piece out and then have basically upgraded or improved on their process from there to get really good at things. And so with the RFID chips, the reason why I wanted to mention that is because I know Chanel has moved towards that, where they don't use the card anymore and things like that. Those are getting replicated as well. But the thing is, when you're talking about the pre-owned side of the house, where these companies all they have is your trust, and they really have to have a tight, thorough authentication process in place, when they have to go off of that, and they can't use date codes, certain things that they can't use because of the RFID chip thing, like some of those features are gone now, because now you have this information that's stored in a chip that maybe you can, make sure the chip is there. But other than that, and that's in some cases, that depends on where the chip is. Like, for example, like I think Chanel's is behind the metal plate. Like, you can't pull that apart. Like, that messes up the bag, so you can't do that. But, all that to say, like, you can't verify by a code anymore because it's now in a chip that's supported by blockchain or something else. Something that is not available to outsiders to access. You have to be within the company and use the tool and have the software to be able to find the information. So no longer can I be a third party person and say, all right, this code checks out, let me scan it, because you don't have access to that brand's technology and information that they're stored on their internal systems. So that's where kind of I was thinking about, not only does it how it impacting the resale market is because not only do you have these items that feel, if they're not real leather, they feel very close to leather. If they now replicate the leather smell, so that the whole chemically smell sometimes is not there because it smells like real leather. And then on top of that, you have parts of the authentication piece, like the code, things like that, that are no longer at your disposal. And so actually on the Rob report, or was it one of the blog posts I read? Yeah, it must have been the Rob report, where they were saying basically they got a quote from someone that worked at one of the larger stores that we all are, maybe frequent or not frequent. And they were saying that it's gotten so good that it comes down to very small details. And it could be one, like the number of stitches, or it could be some little small thing of an etching somewhere else. So it makes me think that a lot of these companies that go with photos, is that going to go away? Because now if you're actually using real leather, or the leather looks very real, how are you going to be able to distinguish that from photos? So is the prices now going to go up for authentication? Because now I need to ship this item to you so you can have it in your hands. And I feel like I actually would feel more comfortable. I know it's more expensive, but guess what? I want to make sure I have what I have. I'm already saving money for the most part if you're not paying over premium, the retail price for an item. This is for me. I'm buying things that people are not bumping up well over retail. So I don't have to worry about that part. But I want to know, but am I willing to pay over that amount to make sure and be more comfortable? Absolutely, if I need to ship it to you. So what I'm wondering is what these authenticators are going to do. I know that Entropy, when I was looking at their website, they had mentioned that they have technology that you can tell from microscopic details and other kind of information from elsewhere to be able to authenticate and pinpoint an item that is authentic or not. So I think usage of some of those technologies are absolutely going to be the future of this, because you may not be able to go solely off of eyeballs anymore. That's just kind of where it is, because when you look at two that are really good and you can't tell the difference, what are you supposed to do? And that's your reputation. If you get one wrong, that's your reputation, And obviously they're human, so they're not going to get everything right, but you need to be pretty doggone close to perfect when you're talking about authentication. Yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on it. I kind of rambled a little bit, but yeah, I would say it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen with the pre-owned side of things, because of the fact that these things are getting so good out there. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.